everybody, my name is Blue, and today we are back to Punapuu Ridge, and this episode we are building an exhibit for the wild boar. It's the Christmas special, I guess, because this episode should release on Christmas, I think. I'm actually recording it a couple of days before Christmas, but if all goes well, it should all be released on Christmas Day, so you have something nice to watch if you're not doing anything else, or obviously spend time with family or whatever. But if you've already done that, or if you just have a nice chill day for Christmas, nice at home alone or whatever, something to watch, I guess. Well, you're welcome. Anyway, this episode will be for the wild boars, and we're also building a gift shop. But I've been on Reddit and I've read a couple of things about how a gift shop apparently breaks your game. It crashes your save file. So I'm actually staying away from the gift shop for now. I'm building the building. It's going to be a small gift shop. It's going to be like the minimum size that is required for a gift shop. But I'm not actually placing the gift shop in yet. I'm going to wait until there's some solution, or when it's actually been resolved, or when there's confirmation that it won't crash my game anymore. And then I will use the actual gift shop system, which is quite unfortunate, but I'd rather be safe than sorry, you know? So that's why I'm doing that. But in the meantime, I guess just enjoy this little speed build without a gift shop. And the actual building, actually all the buildings are inspired by the same kind of architectural style from the actual entrance. So I'm using the same pieces. I'm using the rustic European brick, like stone pieces, and also the Indonesian temple brick walls for most of the building, and then also the twilight roof I've used for this building in particular, and then obviously just using a lot of beams from different packs. I think most of it is from the South America pack, those wooden beams, also some twilight pieces, even some base game, just planet suit pieces and stuff like that. But yeah, it's quite a simple building. It's very cozy looking. It's like a, you know, it's a gift shop that you would find in like a little local zoo of yours, I don't know. But yeah, it's quite nice. And obviously adding the details and adding trims and stuff like that, all from the Twilight pack. And actually the windows are from the Classic pack. So if you didn't know already, there is a new pack that got released I think a week ago now, with Eurasian animals. That's the whole theme. And well, a boar being from Europe is definitely a Eurasian animal, and it will be the theme of this gift shop. It will also be an exhibit right next to the gift shop, and what we will also be building this episode is quite a bit of a large kind of staff facility with backstage parking lot where there would be import food, or just, you know, parking lot for the staff to park their cars and stuff like that. Who knows? But there is like a little backstage that we will be building as well before we actually get to the boar. But definitely just watch it because it's quite interesting. I like backstage is something that I don't do a lot, but it's something that's really important in zoos. Like, you don't realize how like a large portion of the actual area of the zoo that you visit, a large portion of it is just backstage, not even to be visited by the guests or even to be seen. The backstage that we will be building isn't super big, but it's one of the first times I'm actually doing some proper backstage, and I feel like it works out quite well. Also trying to make the actual buildings as realistic as possible by adding gutters and foundation and stuff like that. So yeah, really trying to get that realism in with this zoo in particular. I also realized that the actual color of the outside wall is quite ugly. Well, it works well for like an outside wall, but I thought they'd probably like paint the inside a different color to make it feel more cozy, I guess, a bit more European feeling. So that's what I did. And then add some more backstage doors where vehicles can go through and stuff like that. For whatever reason there has to be a vehicle that has to enter the zoo, then that is possible as well. And then that little gap over there that you can see in the middle, kind of surrounded by path, that's where the actual boars will be. And actually the boars look amazing. And I do sound like a broken record because I basically say this for every single animal, and I repeat myself every single time, and that's because I have to repeat myself, because I have to let you guys know how beautiful the frontier animals are. It's actually mind-blowing. And like I think I said it previous episode, for a second I thought, like when I saw the trailer, that the boar was like an actual boar. Like, it took me a second to realize it was from Planet Zoo. Like, the actual animal has impeccable quality. It's amazing. The fur texture, the actual like shape of the face and stuff, like its tusks, the detail is there. I'm also really glad they finally added boar. I know a lot of people were asking about it. Other people were a bit skeptical about it because, you know, it's a boar, seems boring, I guess. No pun intended. But it is actually quite cool to have some more European wildlife, because I feel like Europe is lacking a lot. And a lot of, not to point fingers, but there's a lot of individuals, happen to be possibly Americans, who like to just complain about the fact that we want European animals because Europe is boring for some reason to them. Although they always compare it like, hey, Europe has the same wildlife as America, but just not as good, which I do not agree with, because Europe has some really unique pack, and this DLC shows it. Although obviously a lot of them are Asian species as well. But the Wisent, which Americans would say that's just a smaller bison, which, yes, it is a smaller bison, but it looks really cool. It may be smaller in size, in overall size, but it has bigger horns, and it has a really tall back, like a really tall shoulders. So they do look distinct, and it's quite nice to have some European bison. Same goes for the boar, and yeah, I know the boar do live in America as well, but they're quite iconic for Europe, if I do say so myself. So, and don't get me wrong, I love American wildlife as well. Like, the American pack is one of the best ones we've had, just because of the actual animals we get. Like, all animals around the world are amazing. There's no competition at all. It's just that at this point in time, Europe is just really lacking. So is Australia, but I think Australia, or just Oceania in general, has gotten a lot of animals throughout the DLCs with the Australia pack and the Oceania pack, but also some other packs like Grassland pack have introduced some Australian wildlife, and the Wetlands pack has introduced some Australian wildlife. That's quite nice. But with Europe, it's been quite timid. It's been quite they've stayed away from Europe for quite a while. We have gotten a couple of European, like for example the moose, which is also classified as a European species. So we have gotten a couple of European species throughout the DLCs, a lot of them being exhibit animals though. It was really nice to have just another like nice roster, because we have the Swan, the Wisent, the Boar, the Wolverine. I think that's about it for this pack, but it's a nice, just another block of animals to get for Europe. And then also Asia. I mean, Asia is already quite represented in general. Like, the Asian roster is really thorough, I guess. But it's mostly East Asia or South Asia, Southeast Asia, but not really Western, Middle Eastern. That is, like, Himalayan is quite lacking. And that's basically what this pack really introduces, because we get animals like the Saiga, which is from Western Asia. We also get animals. We got like the Takin, which is the Himalayas. It's quite an iconic animal there, so it's quite nice to have the Takin as well. So yeah, really nice to get some representation from these areas that were first just not really explored in the game. But enough yapping about that, because in the meantime I've built a whole staff facility almost. When I mentioned earlier that I was going to build a staff facility, that's what this is. This whole building is a staff building with all the staff facilities inside, and it looks and it feels like a European building. Like, I live in Europe, so if I see this, I say, or I think to myself, this is definitely in Europe. And it looks good, I must say. It feels like it has the correct vibe, if you know what I mean. I like the wooden extension. A lot of these European buildings, especially modern European buildings, they like to build these kind of wooden extensions, or at least where I live. And it kind of feels like it would be some warehouse, some kind of greenhouse perhaps, but like an indoor, not class, but just like a kind of like a place where they would take care of plants or something like that. That's the vibe I'm getting from that wooden extension. Although there's just a staff building inside, so it's not like it's actually it actually has that function, but we can imagine it does, because you can't actually see the inside, so you can let your imagination go wild there. And then what I'm doing here is this is the actual packing lot. This is where like vans or trucks, like different vehicles would come in and exchange their like resources like food and stuff like that, and then go back out. Or other vehicles are asked to like just park there for some reason, some staff vehicles, But it's a small packing lot, but it works. And then finally adding some detail, and finally we're almost getting to the actual enclosure, which is I think we are almost getting there. Oh yeah, first I'm adding the plaza. Sorry, just a couple of more minutes. I'm sorry, but yeah, the this is a central plaza of the, well, not central. It's the entrance plaza. It's right at the entrance. It's a little, well, the plaza. It's quite self-explanatory, I guess. It's just a big plaster surface with some design, some like a tree planter. Nothing too special, but most zoos always have something like that. So I thought this zoo can have one as well. I added some cool decorations with the plaster, making it look a bit interesting, a bit cool, I guess, a bit playful. And then the simple planter. And then that's about it. I'm really curious what other people think about the actual addition of these animals, because I feel like a lot would be a bit maybe disappointed with like a boar, being like, do we really need a boar in a zoo? But I think I really enjoy this more like recognizable set of animals. They feel like home. They feel like something that is not too exotic, not too foreign, or at least for a European, or I'm sure an American. It doesn't feel too exotic, and I really like that. It's very, it brings me to home, and it's with most of these animals in this pack, except for the Saiga. Now the Saiga is something else, but we will talk about the Saiga when we get to the actual exhibit. I don't want to give too many spoilers, but it is quite something else, isn't it? But yeah, and the boar is like, because we have a lot of these local kind of packs in Europe, where it's not really a zoo, but it's more of just like a little pack where you can walk, you can run, you can cycle, you can walk the dog and stuff like that. They have these exhibits. They're not clear like zoo exhibits, but they have these fenced areas where they would keep some local wildlife like boars or deers. Mostly you can pet them or stuff like that, and yeah, it's quite nice. So it's not exactly what I'm going for with this zoo. This zoo is really this zoo really has more of the actual zoo feeling, but it is nice that you get the option to do this kind of woodland kind of experience with boars and deers and even the swans, which was from the previous episode. So if you want to see how I built a swan lake with a restaurant, then definitely check out the first episode where we built the entrance as well. But here I am building a barn. Well, first there's going to be kind of a slight adjustment of the staff facility, like same design, slight adjustment. But I was not happy with what it looked like. It was very basic, just a rectangle with the roof. So then later on I decided on changing it up a bit and basically turning it into a barn. And it really worked. I really liked that. I'm glad I changed it, because I wouldn't have been happy with this box. And then also a wall in the back to obviously keep the animal in, since it is an enclosure after all. With a bit of a rock design, a rock face to make it look interesting. Yeah, like now I'm ripping off the roof, I'm putting a new roof down, and basically creating more of a barn house. A European barn house, like those like stone buildings you see in a lot of like European farms, and it feels really cozy. It feels like I would like to be a boar and live there. I think it would be quite nice. And for the barn, I use a lot of the rustic pieces again, and I also use a lot of the twilight wood pieces. But besides that, most of it is just default game, I think. Oh yeah, a couple of the beams as well. And the rest of this build, it's gonna be virtually just well, finishing off this building and then doing some nature. So I guess I'll leave you to watching the rest of the video, and I'll stop yapping and annoying you with my voice. So I guess There will be a little walkthrough at the end of the video, so definitely stick around for that. And I guess enjoy the rest of the speed build. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye. Welcome to Punapuu Ridge, where in this episode we will be exploring our second animal in this zoo, being the wild boar. And let's just say that I'm quite proud of the results. We also built a little gift shop without the actual gift shop, which I've explained earlier why. And then this is the actual enclosure. So it's not too special, but it feels like a zoo, and I think that's what I really like about it. It feels like an actual enclosure that would house wild boars. It's very muddy, not a lot of actual plant life, since the wild boars would actually, get rid of them. They would dig them up and stuff like that. So it's a very muddy and dirt enclosure. And then also the staff facility we've built as well, right over here, nicely themed with its Christmas decorations, little greenhouse kind of thing or whatever. It's supposed to be like a kind of storage cellar, something like that. It's quite cozy. It looks quite European. This is going to be like the fairy tale area of the zoo. So, well, not fairy tale, but like the very, like very down to earth European kind of style for all the European animals. before we go and move over to the Asian bit. But yeah, so the wild boars, there's nothing much more to say about this. A nice little barn. And, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the little tour. I hope you enjoyed the actual speed build. And suggest which animals you would like to see in the next episodes. Preferably, obviously, from the Eurasian Animal Pack. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.